I love it.
Oh, that took me too long, man. That took me too long.
Before I managed to sign in.
Watch behind the screen because it was too dark.
Sign in, Nat. Come on, Nat.
I can't hold that up for long. Get Anna, get your stuff together because we're not swearing. Oh, very good girl. Oh my goodness, that was too long being very silly and not concentrating. Oh dear.
But you nailed the Lego person. That was the most important part.
I just
the rest of the video is like whatever.
I even had to like swap the heads around because Alex, it's a Minecraft one. Alex has long hair. That's long, and I don't have long hair, so I had to get the Steve. Look, I even have my ninja.
I like the one that you put up in the window, like had like almost a matching like tone to the hair as well. I know, nailed it.
Okay. My kids wanted me to get out. We have a chicken, and
like a real one? Or?
No, no, they died. No, we had a toy, and it like laid an egg. We like singing toys that make loads of noise, and this one, and it goes, Brack, here it is. Lay an egg over here, lay an egg over there, and then it goes, and an egg pops out its bum, right? And then you put the egg back in the top, and it does it again. We love it. I can't find it, which is probably for the best. But I don't know why they wanted
I kind of want that as well.
For you. Oh, it's because of the alarm clock.
Yeah.
So we've been making chicken noises for a few days now.
I'm glad I have such a positive influence on people.
It's been wonderful because I don't normally read to my 7-year-old. My husband does. Anyway, it's their thing that they do.
Okay.
And so, but I've been reading this one to her. I'm not finished. You can't tell me the end. But we've been reading this one together, and it's just been, we keep laughing to the point where then my son comes in because he wants to know why we're laughing. He's 12, so he's a bit like, a bit too cool for all of that. And then I can hear him at the door, kind of. Absolutely hilarious.
I love it when people think they're too cool for me and then they discover they're not.
I know. I'll see this one snuck away at some point, I'm sure. So congratulations.
Ranking book? No, Mum, don't know what you're talking about. I'm too busy here reading my dictionary of motor parts and stuff.
He goes, and then, so I'm trying to get out of my daughter, Maggie. I'm like, but what? Like, come on. Like, how often do you get a chance to ask a question? Like, what would you actually say to Nat? Like that, she goes, poo, poo, pee, pee, fart, fart.
She's my kind of girl. She knows me so well.
I said, you know what she'd say back? She's like, poo, poo, fart, fart. No, it was bizarre because she's really very intelligent. And it's not even like a totally fart, like book. So I don't even know how she knows that about you.
I don't know. It's not a side of me I keep hidden well, I've got to admit.
So congratulations on your new. This is how I'm supposed to start an interview.
Oh, okay.
Morning.
Oh, we're starting now, are we? Okay. Serious face. I'm ready for my interview now.
Good morning, Nat Amoore, and welcome to Oz Chat. It's a pleasure to have you joining us here on this rather chilly morning.
Well, it's an absolute delight to be here. Thank you so much for having me. I don't know why when I go posh I have to have an English accent. Does everybody do that? It's like all of a sudden, what, there's no posh people in Australia? Come on, Nat. Anyway, hi!
Hi. Oh my goodness.
Do you like that even my serious glasses are gag glasses? Like they don't have...
Oh! I just saw your picture, See, mine are real.
My life is real. Look, everything's a gag.
Mine are real, and that was the only time I'll see you clearly for the whole time interview.
Do you know what's really funny? The other day I was talking. So I know we're supposed to be doing like a proper interview.
Yeah,
but the
we're
other
totally
day I was
serious.
talking to a friend of mine, shout out to EDB from Rocking Reeds, about microphones that she could use for her vlog. And I was talking about a windsock, right? Which is this thing that you put on your microphone. And I sent her a photo because I was like chatting with her on Instagram. And I sent her a photo and I was like, yeah, like this. And she's like, oh my God, that thing should so have googly eyes. And this is a perfect example of Nat, right? So I'm sitting at my office texting her, windsock. She says it should have googly eyes. I literally have an entire bag of googly eyes sitting on my, like, who am I? So I took out 2 googly eyes, put them on the windsock, and sent her a photo. Like, who just has a random bag of googly eyes sitting on the desk? The answer is Nat Amoore.
Yeah, I've got a packet of stickers just over there of eyes. And then my son comes out and he sees them on the table and he's like, why are the eye stickers out? I said, well, I just saw them and I thought they just could be good on something.
Oh, we're idiot soulmates. I love it. Infinity soulmate.
I've got this right here, as you do.
I raise your windsock.
This is the Sydney Writers' Festival. That's not a windsock though. What's that called? Or is it just a sock? Anyway, but it's like the same size as my mic. So we got to keep them, but I'm not sure it'll be any use to me because it'd probably break if I put it on there. But I kept it
going on.
But it's my souvenir.
Just maybe keep it as a souvenir and don't try to actually use it because you'll wreck it.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't actually know a lot about all the stuff I have. Like, is there a windsock built into that? Look at the size of it.
Yeah, it probably does have some kind of something going on. See,
I'll
I'm
ruin the
really a
soundtrack.
technical sound expert. That's got some kind of something going on. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's something in there. It's all good. It's all good. But you've got heaps of film experience. Because I snooped on your website. Let's just be open about that. Yeah. And I've seen all the stuff you put up as it comes around, but I've not kind of gone in and looked directly at the massive content and and skills. You've got like that skill set of, plus I'm an acrobat. Like,
yes,
that's random skill sets. I love it.
Yeah, I do have a film background, and I am, when it comes to the podcast and stuff, I am the one that kind of takes care of all the sound stuff. But out of all the things to do with film, sound is probably my weakness. It's kind of because I spent a lot of time working for Sony Music, and weirdly enough, pretty much everything you make for Sony Music, not everything, a lot of the stuff that you make for Sony Music doesn't involve sound because it's all cut to music.
Oh,
you know what I mean? So you're always kind of like
that comes to you as this is the sound.
Well, like
your job's the rest.
A video clip or any advertising stuff. A lot of the time, not all the time, the sound's not important because you're just cutting visuals underneath a song or music because you're promoting like a song or a musician or whatever. So I would say that, it's not my strength. But the girls at the podcast would argue with you and say she's the only one that knows anything about sound. So,
that is actually what was said.
Yeah.
Because I had Kate come on. Sorry, I'm pointing at her book. This is great.
It just
you can't see that.
Ski mask. And I'm like, have you got Kate in your... Oh, there we go. Great book.
But it's... The organising of the shelf has become difficult with heights and I can't quite figure out how I'm going to put everything in. Well, there. Anyway. And she said, you are the sound guru. So, they do.
I mean, look, if you compare me to Kate and Liz, I'm the sound guru. If you compare me to people who know stuff about sound, not so much. But, it all depends where you set the bar, I guess.
You're going to go... Yep. I have to remember to talk to you about the book because I'm going to forget. I'll forget the book thing. There's the book thing. Now, where to start? So whenever I see a guinea pig, ever since Cassie's book, One Meets an Untimely End, I have a bit of a guinea pig thing with the books, and I'm surprised how often they come up. Miranda Rewo has guinea pigs that she likes to have during her interviews. Nothing will happen to the guinea pig, will it? Before the end, they live. Tell me the guinea pigs live.
I can't say anything about that. You told me not to give away. Speaking of guinea pigs, let me show you something really cool. Hang on.
You're not pulling a guinea pig out from under the desk, are you?
Yeah, there's a guinea pig tattoo on my foot. I hope you can see it. Oh, so inappropriate. Taking off my shoes and
Is that real?
Yeah.
Tattoo? Is that stuck on?
I got a celebration of my book. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. It's fake. No, I got.
I was going to say, whoever did your colour might
lie to you. I got for the book launch. I got a bunch of tattoos made up, like
that's so good
tattoos. And I couldn't resist but to put.
Oh, they're so good. Thanks.
Yeah, that was me giving you one.
Oh man, if I'd had a little bit of paper to hold right then, that would have gone well.
Aren't they the coolest thing ever?
They are very cool.
So, yeah. Anyway, serious literature conversations.
All right. Okay.
Tattoos and guinea pigs.
Tattoos.
I don't think you should be too concerned about the guinea pigs.
Okay. I kind of felt like I would be safe, but I know middle grade is now a very brave area for writing, and people push boundaries all the time. And I'm like, if anything happens to this guinea pig, don't push that boundary, okay?
There's another animal whose life. That's all I can say.
I think I know. I'm not going to predict out loud because then I could be wrong. But yeah, I have a feeling. Oh my goodness!
It's okay. It's okay. Stick with it. You'll be fine.
Now I have to say, apart from like us broken like the chickens, the book is deep. The book has layers. It's an onion book. It's
look,
peel the layers.
Like your wonderful daughter, people think I'm all poo and farts, but dude, I'm deep. I'm deep. I just hide it really well. I am like the living example of an onion. I even smell as bad, so you know. No, that's kind of my thing though. Like I like to write books that are funny and people expect that from me, and I like to deliver, but I also like when they least expect it to kind of like backhand them across the head with some feels and some meaning and stuff like that. It's kind of my secret superpower. So
I like it. And the words, because I love that she loves words.
Yeah, no, I do. And I think like for Casey, that even her love of words is quite layered, because she loves words because she understands how that important they are for her to have a voice. She understands that the more she has a grasp on language, the better she can articulate the way that she's feeling and the things that she's thinking and get her message across. But I think also because she comes from a family who have otosclerosis, and that there's a high chance that she will get it because it's hereditary. I think she also spends just very subtly under the layer enjoys or always is considered of the sound of things. And so when she talks about words, it's not just the meaning and how useful they are. It's also the sound,
the cue in the middle.
Yep. Yeah, and X's, how words with X's are attacking words. So I think that all plays in with her real awareness of sound and of the oral world, and all that kind of stuff plays into, language communication. It's all very kind of a big mixed salad, and she doesn't know it, but she's very much got her finger on the pulse of what all that kind of means.
Yeah. But she's not there's nothing uppity about that at all. It's very grounded.
I don't think she even really is conscious of it. It's just a thing that she gets, And the more that people and kids in particular are exposed to different things and different people and different ways of living and different forms of communication, they're more woke. They're just more in touch with all that stuff as they're exposed to it, and they don't even know how good it is for them. It's just who they are. So
and then the words being both explained sometimes explicitly, but also just words are just used as well, so to show how they would fit in that way. Because I'm constantly the one being, Maggie's always asking me what words mean, and she often reads on the Kindle because it has a built-in dictionary. So she can just tap and find out what something means. And plus she wants to read on a Kindle because her brother does, and she thinks that's fancy. But she doesn't have access to much. It's normally free books, so she'll be there reading Pride and Prejudice, only so she can look like she's reading on a Kindle. That's the whole point, is that she's doing the thing that she sees someone else doing. It's hilarious. Anyway, but apart from that, I'm the dictionary, so she's forever, and she loves it. And then she'll be like, but what does it look like on the page? So she'll see the word even if I'm reading it to her. And she got really plaque. She's really annoyed at that word. She's decided that word's just irritating, and she doesn't get it.
I can understand.
And so having like an opinion about words, but then we have this whole dinner game where we do lists around the dinner table, like A, B, C, D, and then you're going to name something, I don't know, dogs, cheese, whatever it is. And we were doing words that sound good in your mouth. And she came out with a bunch from the book that she just liked to say. So that feeling of saying words. And so there's a lot that's resonating. I'm really feeling they're resonating with it there. And also my family have deafness, different. No one will tell me what kind because they've decided it doesn't matter.
Right.
Oh my God. So, Mum, it would really help my audiologist if he knew what was going on. But
that's parents, man. They're like sharing medical history is like beyond their, like when I say parents, I mean that generation, and not very good at communicating family medical histories. I had to ply my dad for accurate information for this book because my family.
So tell me about your dad.
He's a really good dancer. He has a great sense of humor and no hair. So essentially, otosclerosis runs in my family. My grandma had it, my dad had it, and my auntie has it, sorry. My grandma had it, as in not cured, she died, not of it. So grandma had it, dad and auntie have it. And it's essentially, it's what it does is see, here we go. There's the little bone that like vibrates and makes sound. It kind of calcifies, or it's an extra bone, or something happens to that and stops that from happening. And it can have different severities. It can be operated on. Both my dad and my auntie had an operation. My auntie's was more successful than my dad's. Grandma, had it at a time where when she was, I think she was like in her early 20s, they pulled all her teeth out because they thought that would fix it.
Okay, so we read that and we just went, what? Like it was a moment. Okay.
Yeah, so that's a true story. That actually happened to my grandma. She had all her teeth pulled out in her. So otosclerosis actually gets worse in women as they have children. So each time grandma had a kid, it's something to do with the hormones. Look, I'm not a doctor, but the hearing tends to get worse and worse each time a woman has a kid. And so in her early 20s, she was going deaf and getting deafer, and so they decided that pulling all her teeth out would be the best thing to do to solve it. I don't think I'm making any spoilers to let you know it didn't work at all. So I know.
I did. It had a ring of truth to it when I read it. It did have a ring of that must have happened at some point. Like you wouldn't just put that in for no reason.
Yeah.
And wow.
But it's just I think it's so incredible to sort of, for us even to think about, let alone for kids to think about, the things that used to be done to fix people, not only in the sense of the idea that everybody needs fixing, but also the things that they used to do that were like completely useless.
What's connected to what? Like they're thinking the teeth. I mean, I don't know. My mum used to tell the story how they used to take a woman's teeth out when she got married as a gift to the husband because...
And give him the teeth?
No. The gift was that now she won't cost you anything. Yeah, now it's that she won't cost you anything in dental care.
See?
And so except she included that in my wedding speech, which may not have been appropriate because everyone thought it was for other reasons. It was a little bit awkward. That's okay. My family run on awkward.
We've nailed that. It's fine. Yeah. So yeah, you know, like I think there's that kind of, well, there's a lot of things in the book that come from, you know, personally. Always my stories always have a lot that comes from personal experience, even if it's personal experience that I've then kind of heightened for the purpose of the book. It always comes, like most of the stuff is always coming from somewhere like inside or from personal experience. So yeah.
Have you found many other representations of deaf?
Well, there's a deaf author down in Melbourne called Asphyxia. She wrote the Grimstones books, and I hooked up with her. She did a sensitivity read of Power of Positive Pranking. And so we kind of, you know, like started getting in touch. And she was telling me about her new book that's coming out called Future Girl, which I was like, oh my God, it sounds amazing. And she's an author, illustrator, and an amazing artist. And she's just awesome. And a, you know, advocate for the deaf community as well, obviously. And so I managed to get my hands, and you're going to be excited because it's actually YA. I managed to get my hands on some first pages of a book that she's got called Future Girl that's coming out in October, November. It is stunning. Like, okay, so I'm going to not do this justice. I always feel bad when I want to talk about a book that I absolutely love. I'm always scared I'm not going to do it justice, but so it's sort of set in like a futuristic Melbourne. The girl is about 16 years old. She's deaf, and it's done in this kind of like art book diary. No, that's not the right. Oh God, art book
like
diary.
A graphic fiction type.
It's kind of like, so every page is like a piece of artwork, you know, and the girl is like, you know, doing art within the story, and it's just, see, I knew I would never do it justice, but it's so stunning. It's with Alan and Unwin, and it's coming out in October. Deaf representation, cool futuristic kind of story where Melbourne has just gone down the gurgler. Cool kind of like, I would say like lower YA, like there's a bit of like love and sexy time and stuff like that, but like it's so great and it looks stunning. Like her artwork is just amazing. So if we're talking about deaf representation in kids' books, look out for Future Girl by Asphyxia, Alan and Unwin, in October. So
right, I will be looking out for that. That sounds awesome.
Beautiful. It's so beautiful. God, she's so talented. Just like when I look at like
as are you
artwork. I mean, the story is amazing. That I guess I'm more kind of familiar with words. So like, but it's when I see someone who can write so well and then do artwork like that, and I'm like, oh my God, I'd do anything to be able to draw. Damn it!
I'm not sure you're allowed another skill. I'm not sure that would be fair on the rest of the community. And your video, you did that video with everyone reading, like everyone like in the world reading a bit of the book. How was that hard? Am I allowed to ask? How hard was that to organise?
Well, you know, like this comes back to my film background. Film production is what I've always done, you know, like organising stuff like that. Yeah, of course it was like, took a bit of work and everything, but that's my thing. That's kind of what I do, you know, like if you ask me to draw a picture, that's going to take me a lot more trouble for me to do than organize something like that. But the thing for me was just the response. Like, honestly, the kid lit community is just, they make my heart just go like, you know, and people were like, how did you get Catherine Rundell? Like, who do you know? And I was like, I asked her and she said yes. Like,
people say yes.
Yeah, like I just wrote to her and she was like, yep. And I'm like, what?
Yep.
So yeah, like it was just, and then I just had such a great group of people and such a positive response, and then an overwhelming one, so I ended up with like way more people than I'd planned for, and so then everybody ended up getting like 2 sentences each.
But really it kept it kind of going, like it kept it like moving, and then some people come back, and that's great.
So sorry for the people who don't know what we're talking about, I did this big like
I'll probably put it. I can put it.
Okay.
I can even. Sometimes I've managed to edit the white wall and do it more fancy, but sometimes it'll come up just like a square. If not, there'll be one of those links.
It's going to be here. Like
it's always the opposite. So if I go that way, that's actually going out of frame instead of into frame, and that way's going, I don't know.
Very confusing. But yeah, so it was a whole heap of Kidlit people who did a reading of the first chapter of my new book for my book launch. So it was amazing.
So good. And it's a rough time to be launching a book.
Yeah.
Probably really tired of people saying this to you. But it's a hard time to launch a book. Have you found it hard to keep your spirits high?
Yeah, look, I think in the beginning for me it was really tough because it was literally, there was a week there where every morning I woke up to another email of another thing being cancelled. So but I gave myself a week to kind of mourn, like it's okay to feel a bit sorry for yourself. But I'm always one of those people that's like, it's not about me. It's way worse for other people out there. That it's way worse for other countries. Like the actual thing that's causing the thing for my stuff to get cancelled is way worse than my stuff getting cancelled. Like feel sorry for yourself for a bit, then step back and think about what's important in life. And, like there's so much stuff going on now too that's so much more important. And I just sort of go like, the whole point of a book and the wonderful thing about a book is it has a life. We put a lot of emphasis on the launch time and the launch period, maybe too much sometimes. But I'm hoping that the messages in this book are ones that are going to ring true for years and years and years to come, So like, I think like people just, it's okay to be sad. It's okay to be disappointed, but then in the end, give yourself a break and do what you can. I mean, there's lots of things that you can do online. And even that I haven't been pushing too hard because there's a lot online. It's kind of flooded because everybody's, I can feel everybody stressed about their book launch happening in this time. And so I think I've just tried to step back from that feeling. Probably the saddest thing for me was the Sydney Writers Festival getting cancelled.
The same. It was my first festival.
I was going to be hosting the primary school days program, which was like 5 days of like thousands of kids at a book style like rock concert, and it was going to be I was just so excited. So I'm really sad about that, but I'm hoping that hopefully, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen, but
they might come up with something.
Or they might just be able to pick it up and plop it in next year. That's what you do when you punch your microphone. Plop it in next year. Who knows? But and then I had a national book tour that I didn't get to go on. I was going to meet heaps of kids and go to schools all around Australia.
Wow.
Yeah, so that kind of stuff's really sad, but it's more sad for me of all the kids I'm not going to get to meet. That's actually what I think. When I think about it, that's what sort of makes me sad.
And they can't delay that and do that again. Oh, okay. Well, you're not coming to Queensland. We shut the borders. So
yeah, exactly.
But next year.
Look, I don't know. Hey, you know what? The thing is, I've got another 2 books set for 2021 at the moment. If everything stays to schedule, which it may not, because one of them I still have to write it. But at the moment, there's going to be, and hopefully by then I can just do it all again. Like who knows? And everything, you just got to roll with the punches. And I mean that like about everything. So whatever. I'm supposed to be over at the Olympics. I was getting really stressed because I had all this stuff on, and then I was going to the Olympics, and then I was like, how am I going to get this book written? And now I'm like,
like you're going to watch it, or you're in it?
Yes, my javelin is awesome.
Oh my goodness! Tell me you're winning gold medals, because that would just be classic.
No, I work at the Olympics, so I've worked at the last 3. This was Japan, with Tokyo was going to be my 4th Olympics. So I go over and work as a venue manager. So yeah.
I said you weren't allowed any more skills.
I didn't say I was good at it.
That's awesome. But okay, so you won't be doing that now.
Well, it's next year. They've just moved it to next year.
Move it to next year. You'll have a really big year next year.
Oh, it's going to be a lot going on. I'm not even sure how it's going to work, but we'll cross that bridge when we come.
Very. It'll happen.
Yeah.
And you had the first, because I know the CYA had a big role in the Millionaire. Word, Anna, words. Speak the words. So you found some success through the CYA conference. How many did you have written? You had 2, you had them both written, didn't you? At the time when the first one came out?
No. Well, no.
Where did I make
Okay.
that up in
You're
my
ready
head?
for a really complicated story? Okay.
I should play do you remember your 5-minute clip? Do you remember the one when you did your success panel at CYA?
Oh,
And you
yeah.
had like this massive press. So everyone else got up and did their little speech, and it was really lovely. It was very, and I was researching. So I was like, right, I'm a success. Next year I'll be up there. What the hell do you do? And I'm listening to them, and they all give their 5-minute speech. And then you get up, and there's this like, the music starts and the presentation starts, and you were just all over. And I filmed it, which was for me so that I could, because I'm a slow processor, so I needed to know what you'd said. And because it was quick and I'm a bit slow on the process, I'm like, oh, for that. And then all the warnings came, and it was amazing. And then all the warnings came out, not allowed to film this and distribute and do it. I'm like, oh my God, it was just for me. I'm not going to put it on the internet.
Okay.
But then I messaged you like, I'm so sorry. I did this and I didn't meet you. You're like, oh, great. Can you send it to me?
I'm like,
So it's like,
I'm the worst at doing that. Like, I never capture moments. Like, I need someone like you in my life that is like someone who like captures something so they can revisit it. Because I'm like the exact opposite. I'm all about like live in the moment, and I forget. I never take photos. I never take videos. Like, I'm terrible. And then I finish whatever the thing is, and I go, did anybody take a photo? Did anybody imagine it? Yeah, like that's so.
I do that if it's me. Like if it was me up there, I wouldn't have remembered to do anything. And I don't do selfies with people because I'm a bit self-conscious rather than selfie taking. Yeah. And I don't do all that's like I go to a bookshop and then I don't say who I am or do anything because I'm too scared and leave. So yeah, but when it's someone else, I'll be the one recording it, so I can be like, I saw that. So, yeah. Now I've forgotten where we started. Oh no, that was it.
Anyway, you were asking about. Yeah. So essentially kind of what happened was I wrote a middle grade book or manuscript. Sorry, I wrote a middle grade manuscript, which no one's ever heard of and never will. And then I was writing picture books at the same time. And then I sort of started working on a junior fiction. So I was just all over the place writing everything. So then in 2017, the middle grade fiction got third place in the older readers category at CYA. And then in 2000, and I was like, oh, that's so cool. And then in 2018, I entered like a few of them. And I ended up getting second place for the junior fiction and first and second place for the picture book, which was crazy and exciting and amazing. And then it was really funny because then I ended up signing a middle grade, but everybody remembered me from CYA, which was like junior fiction and picture book, and everyone thought it was a picture book coming out, but actually it was a middle grade. But it wasn't the middle grade that I'd already written. It was a new middle grade. And
you wonder why I was confused. Okay.
I'm confused. Don't worry. And then because so then I pretty much after CYA, so at CYA, then I got an agent. Then I got the Maurice Saxby Creative Development Program down in Melbourne. Then my agent submitted the manuscript for Secrets of a Schoolyard Millionaire, and I had like quite a few publishers who were interested. So then it like went into like a, bidding thing, whatever you call them, I don't know. The war. And so then I ended up with a 2-book contract from Penguin, but I actually hadn't written a second book. It was just an open contract. So then I wrote a book to fulfill that second book contract. But then they were like, we love it, but we don't want it to be a second book. It ended up being for a slightly older age group by accident. Yeah. We don't want it to be a second. We'd love to have a second book that's exactly the same audience as Millionaire. So then I wrote Pranking, which I ended up writing in like 3 months because I had to smash it out because I wanted to keep the same publication date. So then I smashed that one out. But then they wrote up a contract for the second book I wrote, which is now the third book. But when I got that was a 2-book contract as well. So now there's another opening to another open book that I now have to fill, which is probably actually going to be the third book that comes out, and the one that I wrote second probably won't be until 4th. Got
it. That's right. Everyone can just play at half speed if they didn't keep up. That was a great explanation.
Did you get that? Because if you could explain it to me, that would be great.
You're just leapfrogging. You're leapfrogging your books backwards and forwards, and they know what's best to come out next and what order to put things in for readers.
I'm just doing this.
Yeah, this is what I've done. I'm like, let's churn out loads of, and I feel like I really want to say to them, but I don't care what it is, like which one or what you want. If you don't like them, I'd write another one. I don't mind. Like I'll just write it's like you just throw all the stuff and see what sticks at the wall because it'll all come out eventually, I suppose, if you.
Well, yeah, and like the second one that I wrote it because the only stipulations for the second book contract, the one that came with Millionaire, was like same age group, same length. That was kind of the only thing. So when I started writing the other one, I had those things in mind, and it's just like, you know, like when a story just ends up telling itself and you're like, oh.
I was going to say, that's hard. Like,
well, I mean, it just ended up being like, now that I look at it, now that I've stepped back and I look at it, I go, oh, I guess it is kind of like 9+, which isn't that big a difference from middle grade, like 8 to 12, but it is, you know, it does have that. It's like when you see 9+, you know that there's something in there that is maybe not going to be for a 7-year-old. Whereas if you just see like general middle grade, like, you know, you would read it to your 7-year-old. So, but that's not something that I meant to do. I just told a story. See, that's just the thing.
You can't help it.
I just tell a story and then the publishers tell me what's appropriate and not appropriate. Yeah.
But that's more I worry about what it should be, the less I can write. Yeah. Because you've just got too much too much coming down in instead of just the story that has to get out.
Oh, totally.
Yeah. And I didn't know that. I didn't realize, I thought I wasn't doing that. I thought I knew all of that. I'd listened to all the authors say this thing. And then I realized I watched a David Bowie thing. Like this saying, you've just got to push yourself and do that. I don't know what he said. It was really intelligent and insightful and stuff like that. And then I went, oh, yeah, no, you're right. Because I was too worried about what people would think about a Minecraft book. So I was like, I'll stuff that. I better just write it. And then at least it's written and it's out of my system.
100%, yeah. And like, the other thing is like, I don't know the answers, so I can't second guess myself. I don't have kids. I'm not a teacher. I'm not a parent. Like all the kids that I know are my peers, you know, like they're my friends. So like, you don't think about, I mean, when you're with your friends, you want to like tell them stories that are entertaining and funny and make them laugh and gross them out and make them feel something. But I really am someone who needs editors and people like that to be like, hey, this is maybe for someone a bit older, or this is appropriate or inappropriate or whatever, you know, like, but for me, it's all about telling a good story. And then I appreciate so much my editor's help in shaping it and making it work within an age group and stuff like that. It's really, I need it.
Well, whatever team you've got going there, you're so inappropriate. Kids cope with a lot, I reckon. But whatever you're doing, it works really, really well. Thinking about what's happening, I'm worried about the park. I've got the, you know, there's stuff that's playing in my head all the time. So
the good news is it's a kid's book, so the chances of everything turning out okay in the end are pretty high. Look, I think so far it's had really good response. You know, a couple of reviews have started rolling in and people are really getting it. I think for me, the thing is, like, I just want people, the only thing, I want people to get it. I want people to get what I'm trying to do. And I think in this book, as with Millionaire, it's actually dealing with some quite big topics. And one of the things which has become remarkably poignant at the moment is the discussion of how to make yourself heard, and you know, this idea that people have that there's like a little box you have to fit in to make change, and there's only certain ways you can do it. But when people are angry and when people are have put up with stuff for a long time and are not being listened to, that box doesn't work anymore, you know, like people will break out and find ways to be heard. And, you know, it's sort of dealt with in this book. Casey is sick of nobody listening to kids and sick of, they've tried going to the supermarket and asking them to stop using plastic bags, and no one listens to them and no one cares. And they're really frustrated and they're really angry. And, you know, they're using pranking, which, you know, some adults might not consider the right way to make yourself heard, to make themselves heard, because it's not working the other ways. And like I think that's a important discussion to be having with, especially right now.
And I think people don't like the idea that kids actually see to the heart of what's wrong, and they're not afraid to just say the really logical thing, which is, but why would you do that? Then stop doing it. And I think that frightens adults.
Yeah, and I think it's really hard to, I think people don't understand that kids see that the people in power at the moment are not good people. And there's more not good people running the world than there are good ones, unfortunately. And, talking about that idea that people can be in power when they shouldn't be and be in charge, and when they're in charge we don't have to do everything they say, we don't have to listen to what they say. Being in charge doesn't make you right. And that's like, because obviously Casey's up against the mayor who's just walking around in a position of power doing whatever it is that she wants, and Casey sees through that, and that's really important at the moment as well. But the cool thing is that it's all thrown in with a really fun story full of pranks and guinea pigs and fart cushions and all that kind of stuff. So
and I'm amazed at how it's all done so cleverly and not done in a way that's harmful. It's not hurting people, it's not, so it's not that kind of pranking. Because I had an older brother who was the glad wrapper on the toilet person, and the swap the apple cordial for oil. I drank it. What was wrong with me? Why did I not notice that was oil? Anyway, we had a lot of pranking
apple cordial.
I didn't take it as well as Casey in the home sense, but the big ones I love them, and I love the way that you've balanced that, not harming people through the pranking. Do you know what I mean? You know what I mean because you wrote it, but I don't know how to
do that.
Explain it.
I think the thing with the home stuff with Grandpa, and this is another thing that comes into play, the way you interact with someone is based on the way you've set up that relationship. So Casey and Grandpa have a long history of pranking. They both get the joke. They both are in on it. They both want to be a part of it, and they both enjoy it. That doesn't mean you can then go, and this is happens with relationships, and it's something that kids need to know about, because if you have a relationship and you do some things with some people in your family, you can't then necessarily go and do that exact same thing with a stranger. It's about even, like, and I think it goes across the board with lots of things. So exploring the idea that the reason that it works at home, like she doesn't prank her dad because she doesn't have that relationship with her dad, and it's like
respectful.
Well, it's like hugging people, some people don't like to be hugged. So you might be really, and I have a real problem with this because I'm like way uber affectionate. Like
I'm a hugger.
That's the thing. It's all about respecting other people and understanding, relationships and how they differ between different people. So all that stuff is
there's no humiliation. That's the word I'm looking for there. So I'm really glad that you wrote it.
Like everybody has different relationships with different people. The relationship I have with my mum and the things that we talk about versus my dad and the things that we talk about versus my brother, they're all different. They're all nuanced and they're based on something that we've built together. And that, I think that goes across the board with friendships and family and everything. So so there's a bit of that in there as well. Jam packed it in.
It's the book that has everything.
literally everything, even guinea pigs.
And even guinea pigs that live. Sorry, not like having a dig there at anyone.
They do this.
So thank you for coming on Oz Chat, Nat. It's been a hoot, and thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a hoot from this end as well. Even maybe a toot. That was for your daughter.
Bye.